Does it count if there's like a mimicking fasting by doing like a keto coffee kind of thing? Is that something that would still be considered like breaking the fast? Like at 12 hours, I have, butter in my coffee, MCT, whatever, something like that.
If it has calories, it counts as food. If you are doing, let's say, an overnight intermittent fast and then breaking that fast, let's say 12 hours in with a keto coffee, coffee with butter and stuff in it. Yeah, technically that is going to give your endocrine system a signal that you're not in starvation mode and that calories are present. Some kind of like slightly orthorexic-ish women will take this to mean that they can just fast until lunchtime as long as they put a minuscule teaspoon of MCT oil in their morning coffee. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you don't have to eat a huge breakfast, but get some calories in your system within that 12-hour window. If you can, I wouldn't be doing a lot of intermittent fasting without giving your body something past those 12 hours. Another good strategy is and this is what I like for people who just want to crush a morning workout without eating a huge breakfast, would just be use essential amino acids and mix those with ketones. And ketones mixed with essential amino acids is really great for a low calorie scenario, but a scenario in which you still want to support like a hard exercise session and have your body have some nutrients to rely upon for energy. And then I would save, as you have been doing, most of your carbohydrates for the evening, just to keep your body in kind of like a fatty acid metabolizing status most of the day. Then you have all your carbs in the evening, spark the serotonin, the melatonin production, and then basically be able to sleep well after that. As far as exercise goes, when I sit down and I work on an exercise protocol for somebody, I'm looking at, how many days you have available, how many hours, what are previous injuries, are you trying to lose fat, gain muscle, et cetera. But I can tell you, and this is similar to what I kind of outline in the Boundless book, is, for most people, and this is very similar to what I do for like a stay healthy for life type of exercise protocol, you want to include some type of strength session, some type of mitochondrial triggering session, something that would trigger VO2 max, something that triggers lactate tolerance, something for mobility, something for balance, and something for long-term endurance. And so what that would look like, for example, would be 3 times a week, a full body, heavy strength training session with anywhere from 3 to 5 sets of somewhere in the range of 4 to 10 repetitions of heavy full body weights. No messing around with the body part split programs, chest day and shoulder day and calf abs day and bicep, spleen, kidney, heart, liver, pancreas day, whatever. Just like full body exercise session 3 times a week. For the mitochondrial component, 1 session where you're doing really, really hard 20 to 30 second efforts, followed by long recovery periods. And that could be thrown in before or after any of those strength training sessions or on a different day. For the VO2 max piece, something where you're pushing yourself for a longer period of time than 20 to 30 seconds. And for VO2 max, preferably 2 to 4 minutes, where you're doing, let's say, like a classic VO2 training protocol would be like 5 rounds of 5 hard minutes on the Airdyne, each separated by 5 minutes of active recovery. And that would be something you could do once a week as well. For the lactate tolerance, in addition to the strength, the mitochondria, and the VO2, something like a Tabata set, where you're training your body to tolerate high levels of lactic acid by doing 4 minutes of 20 seconds hard, 10 seconds easy. And that would be like 2 to 3 times a week. And again, that could come before or after one of those strength training sessions or on a different day of the week. For the fat burning piece, I recommend 1 time per week, like a longer, somewhat fasted or exercise session in which you're not eating a ton before the exercise session, but you're burning a lot of fats. This would be like waking up, let's say you wake up, you've been fasting and it's 5 a.m. and you do like a 2-hour hike, then come back and have your first meal of the day. But you don't want to overdo that like an overtrained Ironman triathlete would. That's just like once a week, you're doing like a longer, lower cardio aerobic exercise session without a lot of calories on board. So you're training your fat burning capacity. Mobility and balance, 10 to 15 minutes of foam rolling every morning and something like a massage, once every week or two. And then for the balance component, I mean, I just weave that into my workouts where I'll do stuff standing on one leg, or brush my teeth standing on one leg, or, my breaks in between my calls in my office, I'll do a few balance exercises. But basically, if you check the boxes of strength, mitochondria, and mitochondria again is short bursts of energy followed by long recovery periods, VO2 max, which are those longer kind of surges of exercise followed by longer recovery periods, lactate tolerance, which is just like build up a shit ton of lactic acid, then back off with something like a Tabata, that longer fat burning session once a week, mobility and balance thrown in every day. And I kind of flesh this out in really good detail. And I think it's the longevity chapter in Boundless where I talk about the perfect exercise program to kind of like stay fit for life that works for a lot of people. That's generally kind of like the overview of what it would look like. And then in addition to that, include, being outside barefoot, getting lots of sunshine, doing a sauna session a few times a week, preferably with some kind of intense cold afterwards. And then just low level movement throughout the day, walking a lot, taking breaks, during your work day to crank out some push-ups or kettlebell swings or whatever. And I mean, what I've just described to you is pretty close to what I do, especially since I hung up the competitive exercise hat. And I feel like I'm as fit and even more healthy than I was, when I was doing Ironman triathlon and Spartan races and all this crazy stuff. But it's just those 3 key strength training sessions a week, low level physical activity throughout the day, hitting mitochondria, lactic acid, and VO2 max on a regular basis, a little bit of mobility and balance, sauna, cold, and sunshine and grounding. And that's basically kind of like an overview of what like a really, really decent movement protocol for a lot of people is going to look like.
I have Juve red light behind you. I have, a little sauna. I don't have the big one. I have just like a pop-up one, but it gets to like 135. I don't have a cold plunge. My pool's pretty cold right now, or my shower is cold, I suppose, which is definitely not nearly as cold as a cold plunge. Is there a specific order of frequency for those?
Red light panels, if you have them, would be early in the morning or in the evening before dinner to simulate sunrise and sunset. Your body's really, really receptive of those red light frequencies at those 2 times of day in terms of circadian rhythmicity. Whereas the sauna and the cold, I really like those, again, either in the morning, so many mornings of the week, I'll wake up and my morning exercise session, if you want to call it that, is like 30 minutes in the sauna, then 2 to 5 minutes of cold. And then I'll save any hard, typically I'll do like a 30 to 45 minute exercise session later in the day. But that's like in the afternoon when grip strength peaks and testosterone peaks and reaction time peaks and strength peaks. And you're just more favorably suited to doing the hard workout later on in the day. And in the morning, like the sauna plus the cold, or an easy walk in the sunshine barefoot or something along those lines.
I heard you say 1 time a week, do like a longer sort of couple hour hike, maybe something that's not super crazy, but gets you into fat burning. What about, are you saying I should eat first every day? Like I should eat before I work out, or the other days? And is walking considered working out? Like a lot of times I'll take the dogs for a walk and then I'll come back and eat.
The main takeaway for you is that if you have gone longer than 12 hours without eating, whether or not you're exercising, you should eat. If you are up at 6 a.m., you finish dinner at 8 p.m., it's been 10 hours, you want to go work out, fine, go do it. You don't need to eat anything before. But if it's like, 10 a.m. and all you've had is like your coffee with a little bit of butter in it, and you're going to go out and, let's say the morning time is when you decide to do your VO2 max and your strength training session, I wouldn't be messing around too much with like the harder fasted workout. So just try to, as a general rule, not go longer than 12 hours without eating, and try to, as a general rule, not do hard fasted morning workouts. Sauna, cold, walking, etc., I would not classify for you as something that you're going to need to like go out of your way to feed yourself beforehand, unless again it's a scenario where it's been 12 plus hours, in which case I do like 10 20 grams of essential amino acids and a shot of ketones, or just something that's like a small trigger so that your body's not going in super depleted.